Oh, well, hello, my wonderful, beautiful broskies and broski eyes of the wonderful, beautiful Maverick Nation. I am the one, the only, the Dark Shadow Maverick, and I'm here to bring all of you part 2 of What If Naruto Was Ulquiorra's Reincarnation. In the last part, we basically did everything up until, like, they were actually going to do the stuff that involved Kakashi and everything. So yeah, basically everything up until that. So now we're gonna start with that. Basically, basically they would go up to the roof, and then they would go through everyone's likes, dislikes, hobbies, dreams for the future, and their names, obviously. Obviously, Kakashi would start first, and his stuff would be the way it was in canon. And, well, instead of Naruto going after, Ino would go after, and then Sasuke would go after, and then Naruto would go after. Naruto would actually go last. And his stuff would actually be different. Basically, he would say that his name was Naruto Uzumaki. Basically, his likes and his dislikes. Well, he likes ramen. That is indeed something that he does like. And other things that he likes. Well, Naruto would be like, okay, on to the things I hate. Like, he would kind of be embarrassed, like, not really wanting to mention the other things that he likes. And so, basically going on to the things that he hates. Naruto basically stating that things that he hates. One thing that he definitely hates, like, a certain thing that he definitely hates. He hates the villagers that go after him, the mob that go after him every time that it's his birthday. And I always call him the Demon Fox. However, it's been getting easier to deal with now that he not only knows everything that he didn't know before, but, he also has some help. In interesting places. Quite frankly, very interesting places. And another thing that he hates, well, let's just say that the list of things that Naruto hates is quite the lengthy list, so I'm not going to say everything. Because if I did, I'd probably be here for a while. Like, a little bit longer than, I would if I didn't. So, yeah. Just Kakashi, after hearing everything that Naruto hated, he'd be like, well, no wonder Sakura got slapped across the room, all the way into a wall. One of the many things that this kid hates is people like Sakura. And basically, like, as for like dreams for the future, well, obviously, frickin' Hokage. Why the frick not? Why change that about him? I said I was gonna change some things, not everything. But it's just like a certain type of Hokage he wants to be. He doesn't think that many people would like him, if anybody likes him at all right now, that they would like him if he actually said the kind of Kage that he wanted to be. And, Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi would all be wondering what the hell that he meant by that. So, yeah. And so whenever it got to where Kakashi would say, oh yeah, don't eat breakfast or else you'll puke. Yeah, like our first ever test thing for yeah, basically, don't eat or you'll puke. Like, don't eat breakfast or else you're gonna puke. And automatically Ulquiorra can tell that Kakashi's lying, and so could Kurama. And since Kurama isn't saying anything, Ulquiorra goes to open his mouth, and Kurama realizes that the reason why he's doing that is because he hasn't said anything, even though he knows it just as much as Ulquiorra knows it. So Ulquiorra just decides to basically, Kurama just decides to flick Ulquiorra all the way into his cage, and just be like, kid, that Kakashi guy is only telling you to not eat breakfast to make it harder on you in the morning. Trust me, I can tell intentions, remember? And Naruto would be like, oh yeah, that's one of the things I learned about you, your ability to tell about intentions of people. Well, I guess I gotta trust my gut. And he would just point to the seal. So, I'm free to eat breakfast. Though, I would feel bad if Sasuke and Ino didn't eat breakfast because they didn't know. So, Ulquiorra, can you help me with making new seals? However, these ones won't be for containing anything of a heart or anything, but more or less seals for messages to send out to my comrades to let them know that this is all just a logical ruse to logical little ruse to make it harder on them. The test that, our sensei is going to have us do. Well, it's not really going to be harder on me. That's because I already know. So, I also want them to be able to know so that they'll eat breakfast too, and they'll be strong. And, well, it's done. Ulquiorra and Naruto working together. Not to mention Kurama, more than ever, not wanting to be shown up by Ulquiorra, would indeed help a little with the creation of two message seals. Naruto would make two, little pieces of paper, write down what he needed to write down on both pieces of paper, put them in envelopes, just send to respective houses, like send to Sasuke's house, send to Ino's house, just mail them straight away. He would just, put it in the mail, and, the guy would just Like, you'd be like, it's my job, I have to check the Demon Fox's freaking mailbox. Huh? Wait, there's two? One for Sasuke Uchiha and the other for Ino Yamanaka. This is weird. They seem oddly similar in the way they're crafted. And that's whenever poof, the, letters would turn into seals. They would basically be sealed inside the seals the moment that the, mail person, the mailman, opened Naruto's mailbox and inspected the, mail. So basically, two mail seals would be dropped off. One at the Yamanaka residence and one at the Uchiha compound. And, well, Ino and Sasuke would basically both get, both of their messages. Basically, Naruto letting them know that it's just a logical, thing that, something of a little white lie to make it harder for them in the mornings. So, it really doesn't matter if they eat breakfast or not. It'll be their loss if they don't. So, Sasuke and Ino really not feeling like Naruto has any reason to lie to them, they wouldn't eat breakfast. And Naruto would definitely be eating breakfast. He would just be feeling like, doing whatever. And so, Naruto would just get right in. And then, a while later, Sasuke and Ino, basically, the first thing that would happen is Naruto would he would have some materials besides his ninja tools. And these materials, the first person to show up actually being Ino. Ino would see Naruto was planning on playing shogi by himself. Kurama could sense the intentions of Kakashi were also that he was going to be late. Again. So, what's wrong with a little shogi match with yourself? Or he could make a shadow clone to play shogi with. But, even though shogi isn't really Ino's thing, she could make it her thing. If she found it, fun, she could, play a couple rounds. Her father seems to like it a good deal. So, why not try it on herself? And, well, Naruto and Ino would be playing a few rounds of shogi, a couple rounds of shogi. And Sasuke, whenever coming over there, he would just look at them, and his eyes would be, open, and his mouth would be, mouth agape, and be like, what the hell? How many times have you... And, Naruto would just point to a paper on the ground, and Sasuke would just pick the paper up, and I'd be like, that many wins for Naruto, and that many wins for Ino? Whenever you do the little, strikes, and then, you put a little thing through the strike, 4 little lines, and then you put a strike for, the 5th thing, and then you go on to the next thing. Basically, we're looking at a little bit of a 44 to 64. 44 for Ino, 64 for Naruto. Yes, 44 wins for Ino, 64 wins for Naruto. They were literally basically speed shojiing. Like, it took, in, like, to get used to it, a little while to get used to it, but eventually they just started, like, getting better and better and better and better. And, well, you know, until a point where they were just able to go speed shojiing to the point where they were able to get this far. And then Naruto would be like, "Hey, I just now remembered. Pass me the paper, Sasuke." And Ino would be like, "Wait, what? Yeah, don't you remember? I just mentioned this was my second win since I passed the paper. Well, basically, since I let Sasuke have the paper. So technically, it's 44 to 66." And would just be like, "What the hell? Like, this is insane. This is insanity." And Sasuke's like, "No, what you two are doing is insanity. Like, what the hell? You're literally in the middle of this field playing like a speed version of Shoji. You know, Kakashi would just appear out of nowhere, and he would make the same excuse whenever they would mention that he was late. Or Sasuke would be the one to mention that he was late, because Naruto and would be too busy, being focused on, putting everything back up, like the shoji board, the shoji pieces, everything. And, Naruto would put it back in a seal. He would literally have a shoji board with all the pieces inside in a seal that he kept around. Like, at this point, Naruto is basically full credited seal master, and they just don't know it. And there have actually been some times where Naruto, in his mind, has actually played shoji with Ulquiorra. And he has to indeed say that getting all the way to 66 wins isn't really all that impressive whenever you compare it to Ulquiorra's freaking 100 and 85 wins. Yeah, like freaking 66 to 185. That's how good Ulquiorra is. Ulquiorra just freaking map quests them all. And Kurama isn't even all that good at shoji. So like, Kurama doesn't even win all that much. Best, Kurama gets like 25 to like 26 wins to Naruto's 44. Like, no, not 44. Like 64 to 66. And like Ulquiorra gets like 100 to 185 wins. Like, Ulquiorra is just like map questing them all. So yeah, basically, Kakashi's like, "I hope you didn't waste all your energy playing Shoji." And Naruto's like, "Hey, Shoji's a great game, and you know it, Kakashi-sensei." Whatever. It's not like your insults matter. Kakashi was like, "I wasn't really meaning that as an insult, but whatever." And Naruto would just be deadpan looking at him like, "Don't you lie to me, you motherfudger. Don't you lie to me." I can see your intent whenever you say something. I can see all your intent. And so, if you guys are wondering how it's going to go for this new Team 7, well, I would indeed say that Ino would not fall for the Genjutsu because she is not obsessed with Sasuke. So Kakashi would have a hard time, but eventually he would just decide to taijutsu solo Ino, and Ino not wanting to show off her chakra control yet, well, basically would allow Kakashi to fold her. And Sasuke would soon, go out into the middle of the field and, spray out a fireball jutsu, and Kakashi would be like, "What? Gideon can't use fireball jutsu. It takes us too much chakra." And then Naruto would just appear out of nowhere and be like, "Oh yeah, well then what do you call this?" He would just kick Kakashi into the air, and, well, Naruto would snatch something from Kakashi, and Kakashi would, do a barrel roll in midair and land on his feet. Like, back a little, like, having a little bit of withdrawal from all that extreme action. And Naruto would basically be like, still in the air, and the dude would have wings and a tail, and he would have the green teardrops, the teardrop eye marking things. And, his eyes would, be the same because his eyes are usually the green cat-like color. Like green color and cat-like. And, well, he would just be, in midair, just like he would throw something, but Kakashi would not know what that was, and he wouldn't be able to copy it with his Sharingan. But literally, whenever it lands, the explosion would be so big that it would launch Kakashi, and Kakashi would legit hit the ground. And, Naruto would just Sonido over to Kakashi, and he would basically show him what he grabbed from him. Kakashi would just be looking up at Naruto, who would be above him, dangling the bells, and then he would just throw them up in the air, and then like wind pressure shooting one bell into one of his teammates' hands, and shooting another bell into the other teammate's hands. So Sasuke and Ino would have bells, and Naruto would be like, "Don't even try to act like you're gonna tie me up or whatever. I always knew that the purpose of this test was teamwork. I can sense intent, And the intent of this test was, to show our teamwork." Ina was basically only doing what she did in order to hold you off for a while, so that Sasuke would be able to charge up enough chakra for a fireball jutsu whenever you finally came back out into the field. And that's whenever you would dodge, and then I would appear before you, and then this would happen. This whole thing. And, well, Kakashi would be like, he'd just be barely able to get up, and he'd be like, "Well, claps for you. You all figured it out. I presume from Naruto's ability to sense intent, given the intent of this test. The true intent of it, anyways." Ah, you will all make great Genin. You all makes for splendid shinobi. I can just tell. Starting tomorrow, Team 7 officially starts their true missions as Shinobi of the Hidden Leaf. And, well, yeah, I think this is where I'm gonna leave off. On to the analysis, because the Dark Shaman is OT out of here. Yeah, boys, like, favorite, subscribe, click that little bell, something in the comment section, and I'm a bounce like it's Quidditch. Okay, wiki wiki.